Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of the CxO show. Today's topic is the startup success stories in Pakistan, and we've got some amazing entrepreneurs and founders in the panel today. Starting from Mr. Arslan Khan, who is the founder and CEO of Shispare. uh, Huzaifa Ali, who is founder and CEO of eSpark Consulting Group, Azhar Hussain, who is the co-founder and CTO of ChargUP. Then we have Hammad Tariq, who is the country manager. Sahar Iqbal, who is a partner in Akhund Forbes. Thank you so much, everyone, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you, Sam.
Per- You're welcome.
Thank you,
So,
Azhar.
you're welcome. So we'll start our today's show with our first question with Mr. Arslan Khan. Sir, could you please provide a brief overview of the startup ecosystem in Pakistan and how it has evolved in the recent years?
Hassan, thank you so much for having me here today. It's been a pleasure and honor to be part of such a diverse panel and qualified panel. So thank you for having me here today. I think as far as the ecosystem is concerned, for a startup ecosystem, as far as I can recall, it's almost 10 years old. It's not a lot of time in the tech industry. I think it started from probably 2012 onwards. And if you look at um, the 10 years, the first 10 years, I think it has evolved a lot, especially in the recent last 3 or 4 years. It has started to make an impact. I would say 2022 was perhaps the best year because initially
Yes.
in 2012, 13, I got started my entrepreneurship career at that time also. Like 2012, I set up the company. So back then, there were not many people looking for startups, entrepreneurships, no concept. We were probably one of the few who getting started at that time. There was not a lot of awareness, not so much government's backing, which we see these days for startups, not a lot of funding involved as well. But here, I think in the last 3 4 years, everyone has got involved in it. You can see the NIC has been set up. You can see the Ignite funds being set up by the governments. There have been a lot of investment has come in. I think 2022 was the best year because I thought we actually attracted 330 million. Our startups actually attracted $330 million in 2022. This year, I think it's a little low and slow. That's understandable as per the international economics. But I hope that this will pace up in 2024, 2025 again. And
Inshallah.
there are no doubts about the potential of a startup. But I feel still it's a very young ecosystem. We are just getting started. And I think as a whole, as a group, we still need to perform and punch above our weights. So it's not enough yet, but I think
Right.
it's a start and it's an exciting start. Where a lot of international traction we have got. We have a lot of hopes from our governments, our nation as well. Like we can bail them out of the financial crisis. And there's everyone, this is one of those exciting times where everyone is looking at actually the tech sector and the startup sector, like hey, what you guys can deliver. So perhaps now, 10 years down the road, it's probably the time to deliver, right? And I think we have learned in the recent years. We have made mistakes, but I think the direction we are heading is exciting to see. Like it's bound to grow, and I have very high hopes from the startups that we will deliver the promise which is expected of us.
Yeah. Very well said. My next question would be from Huzaifa. Huzaifa, what do you think are some of the key factors that make Pakistan an attractive destination for startups and entrepreneurs?
All right. When Aslansa was saying about like as you got you know 2012 or 2011 in the same era I just started working. And to be honest with you, at that time there was not so much support. And in 2023 we are living here, and there are so many things, like uh, from the government point of view, from this, what should I say, uh, um, people people are used, like, can I speak in Urdu also, like,
Yeah,
as
sure,
well?
sure, sure.
Yeah,
Please feel
thank
free.
you so much,
That's
thank you so
that's
much.
even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, I have a limited vocabulary, so that's why I just, just can't keep up
No,
with
no,
Not
it.
an
Yeah,
it's
issue at
okay.
all,
I
sir.
think I think हम बड़ा अच्छा express कर सकते हैं उर्दू में. Most of our audience will also
exactly. Yeah.
be able to
So
Uh,
follow. Yeah.
what I was
and especially जो आज का topic है, that is more towards the local market itself and the potential
बिल्कुल.
that lies within Pakistan. So please feel free, sir. You can use a mix of both languages.
Thank you so much. Thanks again for this.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I was going to say, okay, as a freelancer, I just start my career, ठीक. और अभी इस एरा के अंदर जो है ना, स्टिल आई फील कि जो है वो हमारे मोस्ट ऑफ द जो टैलेंट है, ठीक है, इमर्जिंग टैलेंट है, वही जो है वो अट्रैक्टिव्स का बायस, लाइक we are providing uh, the top-notch facilities to the Western world, to the Eastern also, and like we have more better ground than the previous one, and uh, खुद भी जो वेस्टर्न जो है वो हमारी तरफ जो है वो अट्रैक्ट हो रहा है कि भाई जब हम जब वो एटलीस्ट एक लो कॉस्ट के ऊपर, ठीक है, एक अच्छी रिसोर्स जो वो साबित होते हैं, सही, एंड वी कैन डिलीवर मोर बेटर. दिस इज व्हाट आई
Hmm.
वाज गोइंग टू से, ठीक. इसके अलावा जो है वो हमारे पास अगर आप बात करें, यू आर सेइंग अबाउट द स्टार्टअप्स, राइट, कि स्टार्टअप्स जो है वो लाइक व्हाट वाज द क्वेश्चन अगेन, लास्ट पार्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन, या.
So, पाकिस्तान कैसे attractive destination है for startups and entrepreneur? What do you think कि पाकिस्तान में क्या opportunities हैं startups के लिए और entrepreneurs
अब
के लिए?
बेसिकली हमारे पास जो है वो, या थैंक यू सो मच, अब बेसिकली हमारे पास जो है वो यहाँ पे अब इस एरा के अंदर हमारे पास ज़्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ जो है वो आ गई हैं कि हम जो है वो सीख कर सकते हैं. वरना जो इन द पास्ट वी डोंट हैव इनफ रिसोर्सेज कि हम जो किसके पास जाएं, किससे बात करें, क्या करें. गवर्नमेंट इज ऑल्सो प्रोवाइडिंग the better opportunities, like the prime minister scheme that I was thinking about it. So वेस्टर्न पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से अगर देखें इस चीज़ को, तो उनको जो है वो पाकिस्तान जो है वो ज़्यादा अट्रैक्टिव सेंस में लगता है कि वी हैव लाइक लो कॉस्ट के अंदर हमको ज़्यादा जो है वो अच्छे जो है वो टेक्नोलॉजी टेक स्टैक में जो है हम उनको जो है वो टैलेंट को आउटसोर्स कर रहे हैं, या.
Thank you so much. So
I
my
think
next
I think a couple
question
of points I
to you.
want to add,
Sure, sure,
Hassan here, if you allow
sure,
me. I
sure, sir.
think I think one of the factors we are being so attractive, which Huzaifa was mentioning. So we have a 64% youth population in the country, and we are
Mm,
about 300 million people population. So it's a large market size. When you talk about अगर हम आबादी की बात करें, तो we are not a small. 300 million की आबादी है, और उसमें से 64% हमारा यूथ है. तो ये जो यूथ बल्ज है ना, ये बड़ी अट्रैक्शन है एक इंटरनेशनल वर्ल्ड के लिए भी. अगर हम उसको सही तरीके से मेंटोर करें, सही तरीके से ट्रेन करें, तो that's actually one of the factors which can attract a lot of investment in the country. Plus, if you look at the startups ecosystem, so many startups are trying to leverage that 300 million population we have, and actually try to serve the end customers. Lots of e-commerce, logistics, and others, fintech startups have actually tried to leverage that market as well. Some of them
Right.
really getting the traction, and some of them still trying. But I think that sets up apart, like the population, the youth population we have, plus majority of this youth actually speaks good English. Like in most of our schools, even government offices, हम लोग अच्छे अंग्रेजी समझते हैं, बोलते हैं. तो ये भी एक बड़ा अट्रैक्शन बनता है कि जो हमारी पॉपुलेशन है ना, वो इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग है. काफ़ी ज़्यादा
Right.
पॉपुलेशन इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग है, बड़ी अच्छी कम्युनिकेशन करते हैं. तो ऑफ कोर्स के ये भी एक अट्रैक्शन आता है. फिर टेक सेवी हैं लोग, टेक्नोलॉजी सेवी हैं, जल्दी टेक्नोलॉजी लर्न कर लेते हैं, हम उनको सिखा सकते
exactly.
हैं. तो दैट्स एक्चुअली डेफिनेटली makes for a good attractive market international.
With due permission of my respected colleagues,
Sure.
I would like to
Sure.
intervene, add one more line, with your permission only.
Sure,
Good
sir.
to see
Sure.
you, all of you are participating and providing the input at their own stance. I would like to add one more important aspect because हम जब बात करते हैं ना startup arena की, and we talk about specifically this part of the region, it's not only specifically Pakistan, and not specifically talking about Southeast Asia or something. The better opportunities are not only depending upon the perspectives and the knowledge and the key stakeholding, what knowledge we have, but equally, there are the opportunity if we talk about the low cost investment, right? That's the key stake right now. And if we consider this point, being Pakistan especially, let me give you an example. I've been associated with one of the Australian group, Mati Group. They are into the cybersecurity and the different formulation of that. I
Uh-huh.
was his vertical advisor and startup founder for that with that Australian partner. So we were facing challenges if we talk about the part of the region, talk about Europe, if we talk about the other part of the regions. If we find Pakistan, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. We got so and so resources. They are not only intellectual, but they have such acumen to provide the niche category of that. Secondly, the opportunities are being available to every level. Even, for example, इसकी एक छोटी सी मिसाल देते हैं अगर किसी ने वीजा कंसल्टेंट बनना है with a very nominal cost that can start up his own, but if he wanted to serve into that advisory tone, not into the money making one, so that's a catch for us because once we talk about the 220 million plus community and the 64 to 65% right now and the circumstances in the if we consider the market the people are leaving almost 30% is already left, so these are the aspects which are bringing it on. If we consider the IPF firms and the different topologies, that's a low cost factor that's going to be more amicable in that. So I
Uh-huh.
think this is an additional point.
Definitely, the cost is a factor. Yes,
Yeah,
That's
cost
a
factor.
major
yes,
key now. That's a key to success right
yes,
now. This is my
definitely.
observation by considering and evaluating the circumstance of the environment and our region. So this is my input of that. So
That's
Absolutely.
correct. Rightly said. So moving on to Azhar, so my next question from you. Can you share some success stories for Pakistani startups that have gained international recognition and success? We've seen quite a few companies coming in and getting global recognition. Can you shed some light on that?
First of all, thanks a lot.
You're
Salam
welcome.
alaikum to all of
Walaikum assalam.
we are having a very nice discussion. Uh, Before actually answering that, I would just want to add one more thing, which we were from the last question we were discussing. Actually, one of the most important factor, why actually founders and entrepreneurs should actually target Pakistan is that we have a very big, lower middle class. So that actually like plays a very vital role in when you are actually budgeting your not only your business also, but also your getting up tools for your business. So that was actually the reason, which is that is reason that this is actually a most so, one of the most sort of location for developing your business. You can do your business globally, but actually it's very cheap to develop your business here, considering the resources, considering the money and other thing. And that actually connects where when the startups actually they get too much international recognition also, some funding also, and there are so many things which are in pipeline. There are like we have like Dastagi, Retailer, Bazaar, Baikia, Airlift, or sorry,
Yes.
well, it actually closed down last year. But they were actually a very active player in setting up the expectation of the viewer that you can actually go that big.
Yeah.
So the horizon, were opened by, for me, successful startups are those, who have defined their journey, and like every milestone which they cover in their journey with some success, some traction, some funding, some execution, some exits. They all actually play a vital role when we should consider it as a a success. Most of actually are people, they think that if some startup actually got a that amount of funding, they are successful. It's a I think it's a very bad impression which we are actually taking it from the
Exactly.
market.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
what I want to add also here, one more aspect, that there are so many startups. They are actually in pipeline. They are actually working with international, investors, and they are actually working on right now. But they are not that glorified as they were earlier. So that is a significant change. So we have a good actually, prospects locally also and internationally too.
So one more thing, I think, apart from all the devastation of the pandemic in the COVID times, we saw a lot of traction because the outcome of the region from Pakistan, the government, the control from the government actually gave us a lot of opportunities because the neighboring countries actually got hit very severely, and we got all the opportunities here as well. So I think that was the time when this entrepreneurship idea and the startup ideas were planted and introduced to this region, and we capitalized it very well.
I would like to add one thing with Hassan's opinion over here,
Yeah,
because if we especially talk about the pandemic and the COVID-19, if we recap the 2020 and 2021, if we all remember that US IPO funds were specifically launched
yeah,
for the entrepreneur and the new startups. So
yeah,
that was the time someone got benefit out of it, and not that far. If I give you a few live examples, I know personally few of my fellows and close friends, like Sehat Kahani is one of the example. Pakistan Health
yes,
Consultants is one. Fahad Kakahir is one of another example. So there are lots of things that came in the bucket for us,
yeah,
and those who choose wisely now they are standing at and they are collaborating with the international charity bands, they're B2B, and they are expanding their postures. So
yeah,
yes, at one side, COVID pandemic was devastating for everyone, but equally for this part of the region, this was really helpful. I think we should not forget that one.
yeah, yeah. That's correct. So continuing my question with you, Hamad. So, what challenges do startups typically face in Pakistan, and how have successful entrepreneurs overcome them?
Hassan, I'll be very precise to the task, and the reason is that before coming to this forum, I have already tailored down every prospect into one document. That's why I've been involving and entering into everything. So, the major perspective of the challenging. Firstly, I'll become to the realistic approach on that. That what is actual challenge? Everybody gonna agree with me. Adaptability,
Yeah,
mind synergy, acceptability. We have so many ideas. But again, if it's not been ripping through to the mindset, that's the first challenge because adaptation is missing.
yeah,
Everyone is having their own mindset. They don't want to listen to the others. If once you are not a good listener, I'm talking being an entrepreneur, you cannot foresee or be a visionary tone for the business. This is one thing. Secondly, these are the challenges actually. Secondly,
yeah,
if we talk about specifically how we're gonna roll into the factor, how we're gonna move on being a startup. If our mindset is कि हम इसमें invest करेंगे, तो we're gonna have this loss, we have to bear this one because we tailored the things in that way.
Exactly.
yeah,
Biggest challenge. Risk factor straight away is monetary side. Then it comes, okay, well, we are a startup. How are we going to grab the business? So the challenge is, which is directly related to the solution, is that's GTM. If we talk about, because most of my members are well experienced, I might be nothing in front of them, definitely. I'll learn from you guys. But according to me, the mind tone that could be leading the things towards this challenging act, that's a go to the market strategy. Either that's a new startup, either that's the ongoing business. Because for me, startup has been way too easier as compared to the ongoing stuff to take the thing along. So these are the major. And then if we talk about the opportunities, the global scale, because you are Pakistani, unfortunately. So the adaptability and acceptance is difficult. You have to go through so many challenges into that attire. Then equally, if we say, I'm not being biased, but government has to make certain changes into our attire for the business perspective, which is happening, which is evident, but still lots of things have been lagged. Why I'm saying this thing, because I've been into the denomination for the French government for 9.5 years. I was a part of Saffron, and I was looking after the Middle East and Pakistan. I was a startup for Pakistan and Middle East as well for 9 years. So I faced myself those challenges. So these are the main aspects because the mind tone is not that compact. We don't want an adoption. We don't want a change. Partnerships is another challenge. What
yeah,
everyone is facing in this organization, being a startup. So again, risk is there because we don't want to believe. We don't want to incorporate our mind tone with the other component, that let's make it one, let's make it to the we, because we always wanted, okay, if I want to share this one, because we ourselves is mistaken professionals where we used to seek something out of it and we start implementing that. So unfortunately, or you say what I said, with dilemma for us, that these are the key small challenges and a list of bunches of challenges we can like financial issues, we're gonna say partnership issues, we're gonna have adaptability issues. There are lots of. So then equally, there are such legislatively prospects that we cannot. If we talk about the international legislative businesses, okay, we incorporate that, then it's another challenge. How are you going to accommodate your invoicing part? How are you going to take care of that? So there are lots of challenges which can holding the things back. So according to me, to sum this up, this is the whole composition, which is directly related to the financial aspect, which is directly related to the adaptability, to the challenging aspect, and multiple things. That's a whole composite into one dot. Until unless we don't connect to the dots, we cannot compute or composite anything. Huawei is the biggest example for us. They were the market leader for telco. Now they are ruling oil and gas. They are ruling everywhere. Now they are being eliminated by certain other firms and organizations as well, because they have the good technology. So this need to be adopted. And the things are, I'm happy to see whenever I used to sit being in a community, there were multiple sort of things came across me, and the guy's going to talk to me. So some things, sometimes this is bad, is good. Again, if you're gonna be a good listener or the good person into adaptation, I think there's everything gonna be available for you. Every opportunity is available. These are the challenges straight away. I think nobody can negate on it. If somebody have otherwise thought, they're gonna open to add on this. This is from my side.
I believe one more thing that is very important is the access to information, because this is a market where if there are some success stories, people follow those examples, but the access of information is very limited to those people, because
Absolutely.
they don't research, and you just get into that, and especially when we are serving international markets, there are a lot of things that needs to be catered for. Yeah.
As I have mentioned that we are the one who don't like to be pinpointed or don't want it to be into the highlight that you did this wrong. Do go for the R&D. I think this is something we need to change in our adaptability and in our creativity, because we come up with a vision and a mission only. Most of us going to follow, or maybe not, I'm not sure, but there are miscellaneous sort of approach in different organizations. And Azhar Saab wanted to add something. I can see that. So
Yeah,
please.
yeah, I do want to, I have, full agreement on the key challenges which you have mentioned. I have, no second thought about it. But I want to add some very key challenge, one more, which is actually I'm facing day to day, is actually, it's about the mindset of our people. They just want to run after money. And this is actually not only with the issue with the founder, but it is also with the people actually who are the part of almost every like every aspect of startup building.
Yes.
So this actually, and the second one is that people are not open. People, they don't share things. They want to keep it with them. This is the problem, because actually I was actively involved in startup ecosystem in Saudi Arabia and startup ecosystem in UAE. And there actually I found, the founder, they actually first, when they start their venture, planning to starting their venture, they first start to start by talking to the people, talking to people who can help them. So this is the problem, that I sometimes, term it as a Superman approach. We consider ourselves like a Superman. We can do it alone. It's not like
Do that.
it won't like work like that. So that I just wanted to add, just, two bits of ideas.
Yeah.
I would like
Just
to
want to
one
add one
important point
thing.
over here,
Yeah.
because we are talking. Just quick thing. We are talking about only Pakistan. Let me share you my experience, because I've been to more than 37 countries, and I've been worked in almost three different regions. So this is not only Pakistan. The most challenges are you have to bear if we talk about US, if we talk about the Europe side. So this is everywhere actually. So this is not only us, but because we are lighting Pakistan only. These are the challenges everywhere, and adaptability and acceptance is almost missing. when it comes to just like an example, if you are introducing a new product, the people go, oh, that is selling a cheaper one. I'm giving a live example of the French people because I've worked with them. So they used to say that, okay, but we cannot cut down the cost. Then equally, the people are sitting there that they said, I go for the Chinese product, for example, I go for the local product because that's cheaper. Again, psyche.
Yeah,
So this is not only Pakistan, this is across the world.
that's correct. Moving on to Sahar, my next question would be for you. What do you think? How important is access to funding for startups, and what are the various funding sources available in Pakistan?
Ji, Assalamu alaikum. I think I'm the odd one here because I come from a legal background. So yes, I am a partner at a law firm. In a way, I can relate to being an entrepreneur and having a startup. But I just like to weave a thread around what everybody has said. I think even before COVID, Pakistan was a very ripe market for startups. In fact, earlier this week, I was also moderating a discussion on entrepreneurship in Pakistan, which was similar to the topic we're discussing today. And as Hassan, I think you mentioned that compared to our neighboring countries who were more adversely impacted during pandemic, Pakistan was still able to, float. I think the problem we faced as a country is instability, and not just startups. All sectors in Pakistan have faced that problem, and that personally, I think that's the real challenge for us. That and perhaps lack of consistency, because I think all of us agree that there's a lot of potential in Pakistan, and we've always been waiting for our time to shine. And that time, I think all of us thought was coming just before we or the world went into pandemic. We've seen a slight brain drain during the current slowdown, but I personally believe that those who've left, perhaps because they feel that here they weren't able to completely realize their potential, they will come back once. And we do see that our country has finally sort of trying to gain stability, and the future looks bright, and we have to be positive and optimistic, and we will learn from our mistakes. I'll come to a specific question, which is access to funding. It's very important. But then, and there was also a question on success stories, and I think I'd like to add Kist Bazaar by Arif Lakhani here, because as lawyers, our law firm advised on that, and Arif is very, he's a seasoned and mature entrepreneur. He has been in this field, and I personally feel that Kist Bazaar is a success story, and his growth has been, I won't call it slow and steady, but his trajectory is measured and it's mature. He knows what he's doing, and he's taking it slowly at the right market. He's working at the right market, etc. The other point I'd like to touch upon, because that's my core area, is the government, the regulatory and legal framework. On this, I'd like to mention that we have seen some laws being promulgated by our government to encourage startups. There's still a long way to go. I was speaking to some tech startup entrepreneurs, and they said they'd like to see a lot more incentives than what we currently have. But I personally feel that there is an interest. It's not like the government is not looking at this area or is ignoring it. I think once everything else also sort of starts to work more smoothly, there will be, all of us, I think we've all agreed there was a lot of interest in Pakistan, because Pakistan was seen as the next frontier market. So there were these international investors and VCs who had funding and they wanted to invest in Pakistan. And we had some very, very good ideas in Pakistan. Um, I'd like to mention here, I think maybe because perhaps it's due to lack of experience or young age, a lot of our entrepreneurs, once they have an idea, they expect immediate funding. They want funding. And when they receive funding, they're not able to manage it. It's important to get funding, but it's also important to be consistent with the money you've received and to channel and utilize it properly. And there are avenues. I mean, it's very heartening whenever I see domestic or local investors who want to invest is they see it as something which can be successful, but also they want to encourage and give back to the country. So we have, and not just individual investors, but now we're also seeing organizations. For instance, Bank Al Falah invested recently in Kist Bazaar, and it's Bank Al Falah is a renowned name in commercial banking. And for somebody, somebody as well known as Bank Al Falah to invest in startups, that's very, very heartening, very positive. Right now, or for the last few months, we feel that international investors are hesitating a little from investing in Pakistan, which is not surprising given how current, globally macro economy is performing, but also because of challenges we as a country have faced. But I feel that our issues are very, I think they're simple. They can easily be mended. So just as we saw interest tapering over the last few months, I feel that it'll be very easy to get international investors' interest back in once they see that the country is now stable and things are running. Everything is in the ordinary course. And the government, it's very, very important for regulators and government to not just advertise ease of business, but to actually implement it and to show that if international investors come through the right channels, they can invest and they can also remit dividends and profits or divestment proceeds outside Pakistan. So just my 2 cents.
Rightly said. Moving on to Arslan. The next question, I think Sarah slightly touched upon that, but do you think are there any specific sectors or industries where Pakistani startups have excelled? And what are the opportunities do you see for future growth?
Yeah. And then Hassan, before I take on this question, I want to just add what Sahar was saying, and I think which Hammad has touched, and Azhar Sahab has also touched it a little bit. Just want to add to what they were saying, especially the challenges faced by the startups. So I think one of the key factors is a product market fit. So as Hammad touched on it, I think that was really the goal, that we working on something, unable to validate it, later figured out it has no ROI in the market. But it was really too late in the process. So I think we don't do that type of an analysis. It's an international problem, not just specific to Pakistan, but I think all startups needs to find a good market fit. They're actually solving a problem where people are willing to pay for them. I think that's very important as a startup to tackle.
Indeed.
Second challenge, which is a little local to us, does not exist internationally, as I do a lot of business internationally. But in local, I've seen very aggressive technology startups, extremely aggressive disruptors. They have this mindset, but the industry is not ready for it. For example, I will give you an example. I will not name them, a retail startup. I will not name them. They have captured lots of stores in Karachi and Lahore and given them free devices for up to 3,000 rupees per month, right? Actually, the device cost is at least 2.5 lakhs rupees, as I know, right? The point of sale devices. They've given
Right.
them for 3,000 rupees a month. So where is the ROI? So you're trying to capture a market at investors' money without really having an ROI in your mind. Really, there's nothing like sustainability.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the startup ecosystem is moving towards sustainability now. There are no more angel investors. There are no more just concept investors. The people are
Exactly.
looking for sustainability now in this financial crunch overall internationally. But when I see that, I look at our startups' behavior. They're extremely aggressive, but
Mhm.
at investors' cost, right? Not factoring the sustainability at all, just trying to capture the market size so that they can sell for more money, valuing it. But in the end, someone has to pay the cost. If you are not able to return the investments, it's going to die down sooner or later, right? So I
Exactly.
think that mindset doesn't exist, that hey, internationally now the people are looking for sustainability and not just the market size or the customer size you can acquire, which is of course is important. But that ROI needs to be considered before you are investing. Like, you get all those thousands of retailers who actually even are not ready to use that system or a device. They say, oh, it's a headache. So someone needs to go and educate the damn industry first, and then throw so much money in it. So I think we're not doing that homework, which is important to find the right market, so that you can actually benefit, your investors can actually benefit and trust and invest more with you. Once you're able to get them to earn something sustainable, return them their investments, they will be happy. And that's the long term, that's the long term success. So I think the focus is on very short term success. Seeking investment is not success, right?
Yes.
Sustainability is. If you're able to
Correct.
create a business which is sustainable, then it's a success, yes, which everyone will admit and admire, right? So I
Okay.
think that's, and I'm sorry for going back to the previous discussion.
No problem at
I
all, sir.
think that's challenges needs to be addressed, and one of the foremost is that I think our young people, young entrepreneurs, don't have access to mentorship. Perhaps they limited. There are NICs. I know they're doing hard work. Ignite doing great work. Government chipping in, yes, but I think the still it requires lots of mentorship. Where things are moving internationally, how things works in the local industry, it doesn't work the same way, right? And I think that that mentorship is missing, and there is a gap. I feel sometimes I feel that startups living in another world, and we are living in another world. So the reality needs to be accepted, and someone needs to educate and mentor these guys. Hey, where you're heading, what's the future, how sustainable it is. So going back to your question on the areas, I've seen lots of exciting work, and in different areas. So, for example, e-commerce. And when I talk about e-commerce, the Daraz name comes very first. Um, Logistics by Kia, Kareem, even though they get, it's a Pakistani company, we can claim it. Many of those, if you look at the successful startups, so you will find some trends with them. So the successful ones, most of it are those either they're led by some of the established founders who have worked abroad and then come back to Pakistan and done it, or those startups like what was that company? I forgot the name. Which was the biggest acquisition? Cloudways. I forgot the name of the parent company and for the Cloudways. So if you look at them, either those startups are led by the established founders who actually worked abroad, come back with the experience and led those successfully, or those startups which are actually supported by the services companies, who are the initiatives of the service companies who already know the business, who are already profitable, already making money. They created products like Cloudways, for example, and get that acquisitions or big acquisitions or international partnership going on. But in general, our startup ecosystem is still pretty young. It's
Yes.
infancy. It's very early stage, and a lot of startups needs lots of mentorship. And I think there are lots of areas where I see the future. For example, AI and ML, the machine learning, the prediction model, generative AI. So there's lots of room for these startups to actually fill that gap and actually earn that. Over the years, our startups have done well, like Baikia, Daraz, Kareem, others definitely. Even in the fintech world, I would say EasyPasa, Kino, others. They are good fintech startups. So we have in the fintech. Actually, we are hitting probably the consumer market. I think we're getting there. The e-commerce needs it. We're getting there. We're growing. Even in the logistics and e-commerce, I think we're going. They're good startups. In future, I see that more opportunity with the AI machine learning based startups. Yes, we somehow as a nation find cheaper alternate for energy. There is lots of room there for renewable energy startups. Heard a lot about agri-tech. There is, as a basis, we are an agricultural country. There, I see some good startups there. I'm sorry, I'm unable to name them right now, but I think this being targeted. It has a good future if someone's tackling agri-tech, ad tech. I think lots of good Sabak, others. There are lots of good startups already there. There's a room. I think now is a time that we invest in the artificial intelligence and machine learning initiatives. We complement those with our existing startups for them to actually adopt it, or the new startups coming up. We will see lots of room there and lots of growth, hopefully, in that particular specific section. Logistics, our transportation, definitely there's lots of room in
Exactly.
the
Mass transit.
in
Yeah.
the sustainable transportation system for this country, for the big cities. So definitely, if you talk about the opportunity, it's a big one for the startups. But as our panelists, our respected panelists have discussed, there are certain challenges. Whether you're working in Pakistan, abroad, there are certain challenges. There is certain methodology for it to succeed, and I think that's very important to realize and adopt. And what I would suggest is, and that's just my opinion here. My suggestion is that, and I think which probably have been done, but not done at a good scale. So VC and ICs adopting those startups, which is good. Accelerator programs are running in Pakistan, and IC is now running and trying to adopt those startups. But I haven't yet seen established services companies adopting the startups. I think that's the missing collaboration. When we talk about tech and we talk about the government, academia, and the industry link up, I think for the startup ecosystem to really grow, get that mentorship, access to the talent, access to the experience, how to make it sustainable. Actually, it comes from those services companies who are already running a profitable business and making something either locally or internationally. Once you pair them, those startups with the industry, and I think industry needs to adopt to some of those, you will start to see the success coming out of those startups, because that's the level of engagement and mentorship which is actually missing today, um, from our ecosystem. Yes, the government is doing great, creating funds, NIC is playing their part, but I think if there is a if industry, our software industry, which is mostly services based industry, if those established services companies starting to adopt some of these startups which are actually planning to disrupt, I think they will find the methodology which is missing, which our respected panelists were pointing out earlier on, like the methodology they were missing. I think they will find the path towards success. Those are my 2 cents.
So I think taking the advantage of the platform and the forum, and being a Karachiite, I think connecting to the question, I think we need more startups for personal security and community policing as well. I think that is the untouched area.
Well, I would like to add Hassan over here. If we talk about over here, there's so much opportunities are being available under the platform and the bucket with Hike Vision. They are
Yeah,
coming up with the loss of formulative solutions, and if somebody
that's correct.
wanted to adopt that one, I'll give you one example because I was a mentor of one of the local firm. They have just integrated, and I supported them into their formulation with international variation as well with the atom technologies to be on board, to already onboarded with them. That into the data center solutions. HTCs are part of them. Hike Vision is being Hike Vision. They are the system integrator, so they are already working on it. So just to add on this, that they are very closely working with the Hike Vision to provide such solution. Firstly, they have introduced and prepared a draft for your e.co for the cell size formulation. So after this one, they are already into adaptation for different kind of real estate societies, and then moving forward to the different communities. So this is already under the cards because I'm sharing
Such a
why,
relief
because
for me.
I'm a part of that affiliation. So
All eyes
this
on you, sir. I think all of the Karachiites are having high
Inshallah,
hopes.
inshallah, and very soon I'm been currently my portfolio is different, but very soon Kamal knows that I'm entering into the bigger spectrum. I'm already into the final stage of opening up group of companies, which
Okay.
is primarily focusing on the data center, cloud, cybersecurity, and the other initial categories.
So
So
good luck with
let's
that.
pray that it's gonna be workable.
Inshallah. Inshallah. Moving on to Huzaifa, I think next question काफी लोगों ने उस चीज़ के ऊपर touch base किया है, but it is primarily about the men role of the mentorship incubators and accelerators. I think हम सब उस बारे में ही बात कर रहे हैं और I believe हमें आपकी तरफ से उसके ऊपर थोड़ी मजीद वो चाहिए होगी because end of the day it is the sustainability and the long term approach of any of the startups. तो आपके बारे में आपका इस बारे में क्या ख्याल है और आप क्या फर्दर इसके ऊपर हाईलाइट करना चाहेंगे प्लीज?
Regarding that mentorship, it's like Arslan Sahab and Hammad Sahab already just communicated on that thing, but I'm still emphasizing on that. Startups के अंदर जो है what I seek कि भाई जो है वो proper guidance जो है ना हमें बिल्कुल भी नहीं दी जाती. Even just when I started working in 2012, and there was no one to guide me on that point. And 2016, 2017 was rough for me. So there was no one who is guiding me that do this and do that stuff. You have to look the financial matters, do some kind of stupid management here, and all these things.
Sorry to cut you off. मैं एक चीज ऐड करूंगा. पता है, you are the first one I'm communicating who said there was no guidance. यहाँ पे तो किसी को guidance हो वो कहता है कि मैं खुद बहुत बड़ा stakeholder हूँ इस चीज का.
ये बात तो है यहाँ पे ना, वो वाली बात आपकी कि
And I really appreciate you that you are the one who is a good listener and wanted to extract out of the thing. This is really remarkable. Otherwise यहाँ पे जिसको कहो ना वो कहता है कि who are you? Even कि for example कल का बच्चा उठ के मुझे कह रहा था सर आपको नहीं पता कि सोलर क्या होता है. मैंने कहा बेटा तुम शायद पैदा भी नहीं हुए थे. 2007 में मैंने USF का प्रोग्राम किया था टेलीनॉर का. So I was a part of that.
अच्छा, मैं भी क्वेश्चन ऐड करना चाहूँगा हुज़ैफा के लिए कि सिंस ही इज एक्चुअली लाइक स्पीकिंग ऑन दिस टॉपिक, कि हुज़ैफा आपने कैसा एक्सपीरियंस किया कि आपने किसी से गाइडेंस मांगी, उन्होंने मना कर दिया, मतलब क्या ऐसा हुआ कि आपने खुद गाइडेंस देने की कोशिश की?
Yeah, to be honest with you, at that time there was no one to guide me. Even just the people are telling me that go to that freelancing platform or something like this. There was no one. In to be specifically in Pakistan, because it's all about here. So even if I just quote my idea to someone else, so अच्छा चलो ठीक है, okay, सही ठीक है. So it's all like this. It's never proceed, They never guide you. And to be honest with you, it's like now I'm just telling you the truth कि भाई जो वो यहाँ पे एक्चुअल में हो क्या रहा है. यहाँ पे लाइक ये नहीं है कि जो है वो चले मेरे पास कोई आइडिया है मैं लेके जा रहा हूँ. सही यहाँ पे जो है वो जिनको मेंटरशिप देनी चाहिए, जिनको गाइडेंस प्रोवाइड करनी चाहिए, वो भी थोड़ा सा स्टेप बैक करते हैं. तो दोनों तरफ से है थोड़ा सा. What I seek, like working in that industry 13 years, अब जाके जो है वो कोई मुझसे पूछता है तो मैं उसको अपने साथ ही लेके बैठ जाता हूँ. उसको पूरा जब लाइक ना बता रहा होता हूँ, समझा रहा होता हूँ, ये भी है, ये भी है, ये भी है, ये भी है. तो फिर वहाँ पे भी ना लाइक एक बात बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट जो है वो हमारे सामने भी कोट की थी कि जो है वो इन द बिगिनिंग स्टार्टअप हर कोई कर लेता है, ठीक है, सही है. लेकिन जो है वो स्टेप बाय स्टेप जो है ना जो प्रॉब्लम्स फेस करनी पड़ती है ना, सही है, वो काफ़ी लाइक ना इंटरेस्टिंग होती. चैलेंजेस जो हमें फेस करने पड़ते हैं, उसके लिए जब आपको जो है वो गाइडेंस की रिक्वायर्ड होती है तो आप अपने आप को जो है वो बादशाह या हरफन मौला समझ रहे होते हो और नॉट गोइंग फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर पर्सन कि यार ये फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट के थोड़ा सा पूछ के देख लूँ, यार ये जो है वो फला बंदे का है, इसने इस पर काम किया हुआ, मैं इससे थोड़ा सा पूछ लूँ. तो ये चीज़ हमारे अंदर ना एक वही वाली बात है कि माइंडसेट जो है वो काफ़ी लाइक ना हम लोगों का कि हम कुछ पूछते नहीं है, या तो हम जो है वो शर्मीले बहुत हैं कि हम किसी से पूछना पसंद नहीं करते, या थोड़ा सा बता दें, थोड़ा गाइड कर दें. और जिनसे पूछा जाता है वो भी जो है वो थोड़ा सा लाइक अकड़ जाते हैं कि यार मैं तो नहीं बता रहा. ये मैं तो नहीं बता रहा वाली चीज़ जो है ना, ये हमारे पास थोड़ी ज़्यादा है. मैं इस चीज़ को फील करता हूँ क्योंकि मेरे साथ हो चुका है, मेरे से एक्सपीरियंस में. तो जो भी किया वो खुद से किया. एंड नॉट एट दिस स्टेज मैं किसी को ये नहीं बोल सकता कि आके जो है वो तुम खुद से करो, ठीक है. मेरे साथ हुआ डजंट मीन कि जो वो दूसरे के साथ भी जो वो सेम चीज़ जो वो रिपीट होनी चाहिए, ठीक है. इस तरह से ग्रोथ नहीं होने वाली, इस तरह से हम वही साइकिल को रिपीट करते हैं. इट्स ऑल अबाउट दिस, ठीक. तो जहाँ पे जब वो मेंटरशिप की बात है, सबने इसको हाईलाइट किया सारे पॉइंट्स के ऊपर, लेकिन जो है वो मैं ये समझता हूँ कि हमें इस तरह के जो कुछ प्रोग्राम्स करने चाहिए जैसे कि अभी हम लोग कर रहे हैं. सेमिनार्स भी करने चाहिए कि लोगों को गाइड कर सकें यार कि जो है वो आपने लाइक चलना कैसे है, सही है। स्टार्टअप या एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप इट डजंट मीन कि जो है वो आप बस फंडिंग ले लो और यू आर ऑल गुड विद इट, बस चलो पैसे उड़ाते हैं। इट्स नॉट लाइक, इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू बी लाइक दिस, ठीक है। मैनेजमेंट करनी है, चीज़ों को देखना है, सही है। वही आरओई वाला जो बात कर रहे थे अरसलान साहब, तो ये चीज़ें सारी की सारी देखनी पड़ती हैं। तो मेंटरशिप इज़ नॉट एन ईजी टास्क, ठीक है। तो अगर कोई आपके पास आता भी है तो आपने जो है वो उसको लाइक स्टेप बाय स्टेप चीज़ों को लेके चलना है। ये भी नहीं बताना कि जो है वो ये इतना बड़ा है, हब्बा नहीं दिखाना, बड़ा सिंपल से स्टेप बाय स्टेप लोगों को लेके चलना है। और मैं समझता हूँ जो यंग जनरेशन है हमारी, सही, वो थोड़ी सी अपने आप को लाइक चीता समझती है, सही है, एग्रेसिव भी है चीज़ों को लेके। अच्छी बात है एग्रेसिव होना चीज़ों को, लेकिन जो है वो उनको जो अपने सीनियर्स को जो है वो सुनना चाहिए, उनके लाइक री इन्वेंट द व्हील ना करें, चीज़ों को समझें, उनके एक्सपीरियंस से फ़ायदा उठाएं। तो ये चीज़ जो है वो मेंटरशिप में काफ़ी ज़्यादा आती है। और अगेन आई एम सेइंग कि जो है वो रिगार्डिंग दैट फंडिंग के ऊपर भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा बातचीत हो रही थी, और इंक्यूबेटर्स वगैरह भी जो हैं, सही है, बिल्कुल हैं, अच्छी बात है, मौजूद हैं। पाशा के भी हैं, XYZ NIT पे भी है, आई जस्ट फॉरगेट द नेशनल वन, वो सब मौजूद हैं, लेकिन विदाउट प्रॉपर गाइडेंस वी आर जीरो, ठीक है। और कोई भी अगर समझता है कि यार कि मैं आ गया मार्केट में और इट्स लाइक आई एम टू लाइक आई एम द वन, आई एम द ओनली वन, तो ये चीज़ गलत है। हमें अपने सीनियर्स को सुनना चाहिए, और सीनियर्स को चाहिए कि यार कि जो उसको प्रॉपर गाइड करें, हर चीज़ के सामने ना रख दें, स्टेप बाय स्टेप जहाँ जहाँ उसको नीड है उसको प्रॉपर प्लान दें, बताएं। कोई हार्डवेयर प्रोडक्ट बना रहे हो या कोई सॉफ्टवेयर प्रोडक्ट को रेडी कर रहे हो, ठीक है, उस हिसाब से उसकी जो वो गाइडेंस बहुत ज़रूरी है। एंड वन मोर थिंग जो है वो स्टार्टअप जो है ना, लाइक यू हैव टू बी इन अ टीम, नॉट अ पर्टिकुलर पर्सन। टीम में ही जो है वो आप जो वो ज़्यादा रैपिडली ग्रोथ कर सकते हो और स्टेबल रहती है। दिस इज व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू से अबाउट इट।
अच्छा एक
वेल हुज़ैफा की बात में एक छोटा सा पॉइंट ऐड करूंगा लास्ट विद योर परमिशन साहब, आई एम सॉरी।
yes, please go
वो
ahead.
ये था कि जैसे हुज़ैफा हैज जस्ट स्पोकन आउट, द प्रॉब्लम इज द adaptability of MAD and the MAD2, right? Maturity, adaptation, agreement, and a diversification and a discussion. That's what it's missing, unfortunately, in 90% of the commodity. 10% is falling that one. Mostly the people are been into the MAD2 concept where why I will do with you if you're not paying me good, if what I'll be responsible for if I'm not happening this is something monetary side. So that's the major I think I elaborate summed up in a very simple way to conclude up the thing. So sir, you sir.
अच्छा मैं एक पॉइंट ऐड करना चाह रहा था कि मेंटर्स का बेसिकली मेंटर्स का डिलेमा क्या है कि वो स्टार्टअप के साथ काम करते हैं, सबसे पहले वो एडवाइजर बनते हैं, बाद में उनको एंजल इन्वेस्टर बनना पड़ जाता है उनका।
एग्जैक्टली
तो बहुत
ऐसे ही है
सारे जो फाउंडर्स आते हैं वो मेंटोर को अप्रोच इसलिए कर रहे होते हैं कि यार इसको फंसा दो तो उससे फंडिंग लेंगे इंशाल्लाह। तो दिस इज एक्चुअली वन मोर इशू इज देयर।
that's a sad reality. That's a sad reality. If you have a like a project or
What's wrong in it if you are investing with the right people? So you're mentoring, so you'll make money. You got to believe with them that they will make money.
एब्सोल्युटली जब भी मैं एंजल इन्वेस्टमेंट में आई की वजह से कि एक्चुअली
Sir,
यू व्हेन यू आर एक्चुअली हैविंग द रिलेशन मतलब
I
वीडियो
think
ना, तो डेफिनेटली आपका फिर हो जाता है, अब नीयत आपकी खराब हो जाती है।
एग्जैक्टली यहाँ पे फंड रेजर और मेंटरशिप से अलग अलग होने चाहिए। फंड रेजर कुछ और है, मेंटरशिप कुछ और है। तो यहाँ पे सभी जो है वो अच्छा मिल गया, ओके दैट्स फाइन, you are the one who is going to invest us in our product and just we are you know seeking you only। ये
sir,
चीज यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा है।
I think हमारा discussion is getting into very interesting debate, and I believe कि the points that we are discussing, unfortunately, जो एक common factor सबकी discussion से निकल के आ रहा है कि there is a factor of maturity that is missing towards the approach of a startup,
Yes, बात है
because
एग्जैक्टली
जो सबसे एक common चीज़ देखने में आई है कि लोग जो है वो motivational speakers की videos देख के जो है वो they just jump into it, or
एग्जैक्टली
they don't realize कि what would be the next step.
Just point me good number of motivational speakers actually we have.
So
I'm not considering the
spot
people
on.
who are talking in a motivation. I don't consider them as a motivation speaker
That's
because
correct.
unfortunately they're not from the tech background. They're not from the other
That's
background.
correct.
They're just talking about on the regular stuff. What is the innovation in that? What is the adaptability and the criteria in that? That how you're gonna define a line of sight over that? That's what is missing. So I have a recommendation over here on this platform, and I think if somebody agree with me, they're gonna just jumped into that.
Uh-huh.
I will also discuss over this forum CxO as well, and speak with Kamal Saab as well, and with you, Hassan. I think we should
Sure.
start a specific platform that it comes to the mentorship and the startup evaluator and advisor. That's going to be helpful by considering the facts and figure, and compositely we can go for the whole analysis from all the respected members who are present here and who are a part of this global forum. So we gonna incorporate that one into our dossier. Either that's in the form of a small line content with a video shout out, or we're gonna make a draft craft this one into the booklet. That's gonna be helpful for everyone, because I'm been very much influenced with one of the book that was gifted to me 9 years ago for one of a person who was the owner of biggest stake in US. I will not quote the name. He gifted me a book with his own signature, how to be a rainmaker, and that was something. Rainmaker for most of the people, oh, rainmaker, but they don't know the actual meaning of that. So this is something. Just like the difference between an eagle and a duckling, it's you who gonna choose your path. Either you want to stay like a duck or you want to fly like an eagle. So this is like that.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I think adding to what you're saying, and I'm sorry if we are getting slightly off track with the list of questions that we have aligned, but this is a very useful discussion that we are having. I believe if the idea that you have proposed, it cannot be a generic series of discussion. It should have all of the subject matter expertise in all of the pieces of the procedure, and it should be a series of maybe industry specific discussions, or online platforms or physical
Yes,
businesses.
bifurcation of the verticals.
Yeah.
What are there? Because the tech is coming up. Ed tech is there. We have multiple leaders from different areas. So everyone have their own composite on that. So I think these much needed to create an awareness to the people who wanted to come up with something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um
I agree
Moving
with you.
on to Sahar, my next question would, and it is a relevant question from your background. So, could you share some insights into the role of government policies and initiatives in promoting and supporting startups in Pakistan?
Yes, I touched upon it. Just to add to what everybody's been saying, especially Huzaifa's comment, which seemed very heartfelt. I think mentorship is important in every field, especially in at least in our field, in the field of law. There is a 6 month pupillage period, so you're actually supposed to be mentored by your senior lawyers. Reading the law, learning the law is different, but being a
Mhm.
good lawyer in practice is just by observing your seniors, and that's true for every field, including for doctors, etc. So it's very important. And then Hamad mentioned that, or maybe it was Huzaifa, that these days, uh, the young generation or the upcoming, they feel that they know everything and they don't want to learn from experience. In one of the previous talks I moderated earlier this week on entrepreneurship, the panel the panel comprised of entrepreneurs who had started young, put in a lot of effort, made it through, and now they feel they want to give back. They have a lot of experience which they want to, and a lot of knowledge which they want to impart, so that the initial trial and error phase is eliminated or avoided. So it's very important to have good mentors who are sincere, and also good people working for you, good team members who are also sincere. Because the other thing that happens is, you teach and train people, they learn and they move on. I mean, that's fine, that's fair. You can't bind somebody to work for you, but I think there needs to be a certain set of ethics also when you work, whichever field it is.
Yeah.
As far as the government's role is concerned, I think we'll all agree that the government needs to be stable first and foremost.
Yeah.
The other point I feel is that we have a lot of laws in Pakistan. As a lawyer, it surprises me, a, because some of our laws were inherited from when we were a colonial country, so a lot of British laws. And
Yeah,
then we
exactly.
also always look towards India. So if there's our neighboring countries, if we feel that some laws have been promulgated in our neighboring country, we also adapt it to our country, which is fine. But then circumstances can be different, so we need to stop. I mean, no, we need to make laws, but we also need to implement it. At the same time, we have some laws which were made for certain reasons. So, for instance, employment laws. They were made back in the 1960s when we were going through a process of industrialization, and we were predominantly an agricultural country. We still are, but there's a shift now. A lot of people are working in the tertiary sector, so a lot of laws that were promulgated to protect factory workers or farmers, those are not relevant anymore. We need to
Exactly.
amend them or get rid of them. So we have a lot of laws, we need to implement them, very important, and we need to update our laws as well. Startups, I think I mentioned when I spoke previously that the government is looking at this. Just before, the last government change, and just before we went into lockdown and the pandemic, there was there was a lot of interest by the government, because we were doing well. So the next sector, in fact, the startup sector was growing in tandem, side by side, and it would have continued to grow along with our traditional sectors. So the government was promulgating policies. They were also amending. So, for instance, the Companies Act. I'm sure all of us are aware of it. It's the backbone of corporate and commercial law in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Over the years, the last couple of years, the government has introduced amendments in it, and we also see, for instance, the state bank, issuing circulars from time to time, encouraging activity in this sector. And the government is also very open to assisting startups. So if you feel that the traditional laws are hindering you, or you need a way around it, you can always approach the regulators and they will assist you. They'll give you a way around it. So I'd like to be positive about it, that this is one sector where the government is keen and interested. They want to help. They want to help startups. And even if we feel, if this sector and the entrepreneurs and the stakeholders feel that there is something which either is restrictive, or if they would like a law to be specifically promulgated, the government will be open. The only issue is that there needs to be a constant engagement with the government, and some regulators, some ministries are very helpful. So if you speak to them, if you go and meet them, they will listen to you, they will take on board your comments. And like most civil countries, before the government publishes a law, it also puts it up for comments. So you can always comment, you can always meet. And I think it's what I'm trying to say is that this is not just for lawyers. Anybody, law is made for all of us. A, we need to know what the law is. B, we need to get in touch with regulators if we have any concern. So the government's role, I feel, has been positive on this. There is still room for growth, and once the government is approached, and they will listen to you. They will listen to you if you guide them, if you tell them your concerns, they will listen to you.
Thank you so much for the relevant information that you have provided. With that, we come to the end of the show. But before concluding the show, I will have very precise closing notes from each one of you, starting from Arslan Saab, Huzaifa, then Azhar Saab, Hammad, and Sahar, please.
Yeah, I just want to add a couple of points what Sarah has said, and then I will go to conclusion if you allow me a couple of
Sure,
minutes.
sure.
So I think regarding the policies, I think our policies for a long time have not been conducive for businesses or the business owners. Since 1970s, the mindset is of government
Exactly.
owned businesses, right? So you as a business owners always not considered a welcoming from the bureaucracy, from the government institutes. So everyone wants to come after you, whether FBR or another thing. Once you start making something, and they will probably not leave you behind, because that's the mindset.
Yeah.
You consider a company like Uber, for example, right? If it had started in Pakistan, they would have banned it because it actually kills or disrupt the traditional taxi service, right?
Mm.
So for something like Uber, can can Pakistan have laws today to support something like Uber, which actually disrupts the normal services and affects the masses, really help them make a better life? What we do, how we react is we ban them first, and then try to regularize them. What others has done, what US has done, for example, and the other countries have done, they have let them grow until they figure out the ways how to regularize it. So unfortunately, in Pakistan, as a business owner, you're targeted because the mindset is not there. And
Exactly.
especially
Exactly.
our government actually do not understand technology very well, specifically the bureaucracy. Um, and there are lots of gaps. I won't go into the details of it, but I think I'm making my point here
Yeah.
clear. Like,
You
what are the
make your point.
challenges faced as an entrepreneur in Pakistan? Yes, Huzaifa, you want to add something?
No, I'm just totally agree with you, on this point,
Yeah,
of the points you were saying, like the government thing, even when I just started things, all these tax holders and so, sorry, yeah, tax holders. So they just came up and just this tax and this tax and that and that and that,
yes,
and I don't know that how should I proceed, like. I'm just not going to quote anyone, but when I just came that industry, tech industry, there's a lot of taxes. Like a bunch of guys were there who were ready to collect, and I don't know from where they are coming from. It's like nah, and this is for this. ये आपके लिए ये है, and it's like complete
yeah,
like maniac here. So
yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
think
this,
yes. I think the regulating the startups actually needs some legislation, definitely.
yeah, exactly.
When it comes
There are
to
no standards
comes
basically.
to comes to startups, I think there's legislations missing when it comes to startups. But
Exactly.
as a businesses now, we see that it's been improving. The Special Technology Zone initiative, I saw the SIFC initiative being taken. So I think the realization is there in the government now that they need to support the tech sector, the startup sector. There's lots of boom and talk about it, but let's see how much of this actually gets materialized. So this is the first time I'm seeing that there is a realization at the government sector that they need to
Inshallah.
actually support the industry. So let's see and hope that how it transforms. Regarding this discussion, I think it was a wonderful learning from all of you. I learned a lot personally. I think great session needs to continue doing that. My message for our entrepreneurs will be to definitely seek mentorship, as our respected panelists have said. Seek them out. Be patient. I think we as a nation are too much impatient, right? Our startups get started and probably close in an year or two. Not enough time. They don't give themselves enough time. I think they need to be patient, persevere, continue on the path, grow slowly, but make progress. So I think that's the hallmark. Like, you believe
Mm.
in the vision, you believe, set up some goals for you, and then actually be persevere, be patient with it. That would be my message to the youngsters. And don't give up. Whatever the tackles and the challenges comes your way, do not ever give up on your dreams. Good luck.
Yeah. So I agree with completely agree with Arslan, and what I have to quote, this topic is not going to be end soon. I'm pretty sure about it. And what I have to quote to the entrepreneurs and just who are just doing the startups, like just stick to the goal. It's a very simple formula, I can say. Like the consistency is the key here. ठीक। And like if you just like अगर आपने कोई अपना goal set कर लिया है, ठीक है, just go for it. And the more important thing, the mentorship, just listen to what your seniors have to say. Let's don't ignore them. They have got a lot of experience, and the bad one are the most. So just listen to them very carefully, and stick to the plan and consistency with just उसको करते जाएं। ये ना हो कि भाई लाइक अप एंड डाउन तो आते रहते हैं। आई एम जस्ट टॉकिंग विद द एंटरप्रेन्योर्स वी हैव, एंड यहाँ पे बहुत अच्छे पैनल मौजूद है जो कि उनको जो प्रॉपर्ली गाइड कर सकते हैं, बता सकते हैं हर चीज़ के बारे में। तो बस ये है कि जब अपने गोल को लाइक थामे रखें और लेट इट गो नहीं करें। डाउनफॉल आता है, बिल्कुल आता है, हर चीज़ के अंदर आता है, लेकिन जो है वो उसको छोड़े नहीं, उससे ला के रखें अपना जो लाइक ना, एंड जस्ट in the end, just this is the point I want to say to the entrepreneurs and the guys who are doing startups. Just don't lose hope. And yeah, the government is somehow helping us, and they are now start realizing. But you on this game is yours. So best of luck to you all. to our listeners. Thanks.
Thank you. Azhar Saab,
Thank you so much, for having this lovely discussion. Or mera what I would like to advise to like entrepreneurs is that build sustainable business, build business actually which can run. Don't think that it is an easy way to grab international money and something like that. You should actually build something good. Money will come automatically. Investors are actually dying out to put their money into some good businesses. So what they have to do, they just have to keep their focus on. If something is not working, pivot fast, fail fast, and learn fast, and then respond back. This is actually will be my message to the aspirants. Right.
Hammad Saab.
First of all, again, once again, thank you so very much for this platform and the opportunity कि जहाँ पे we all gather together and we just share the ideas. And I feel that I'm still learning. There are lots of experienced people sitting in front of me with the attire acumen. Before wrapping this up, I'll just compute one important point within 3 words that in the whole communication, we are just talking about the NIC, we are talking about the stuff. We should not equally forget to get some influence, especially we talk about the ARFA association. We can talk about She Loves Tech Pakistan. We have I2I. So there are multiple. So they are all there as an inspiration to us. There are multiple factors the companies have been growing and in multiple diversifications. Just like if we can say collaborations like Eco Energy is there, Pasha is like remarkably excelling. So these are the few other additional prospects that we need to follow. And to adding on my all the respected members that a small a suggestion to all of them, all of the entrepreneurs and the startups, that firstly define yourself as a mission driven company. Either you are an individual, either you yourself is having an organization, because brand is nothing. Brand is you, what you are, what you are implementing. So have faith on yourself. Listen to everyone. Just extract and pick between the lines, and always try to be being an organization. If you are working with different commodity of the people, try to work like a we instead of I think that's the first thing to key to success or to lose any kind of a business. So this is from my side. We are always be available, and I'm looking forward for such forums again and again. And
Sure.
wherever it's needed, I'm readily available to share my experience, to share my knowledge. So I'm all available for that. Thank you so very much to
Thank you.
Hassan. Thank you so much, very much, Arslan Saab, Azhar, Huzaifa Saab, and to you, Sahar. It was a great, overwhelming interaction with all of you. I'm really honored and
Likewise.
privileged. And thanks to Kamal itself.
Yeah. Sahar, the concluding remarks from your side.
Concluding remarks, Ji. Arslan mentioned that the legal and regulatory framework and the government policies are not conducive for business. That is true. Over the last couple of years, all of us have felt this sense of you know tightening when it comes to doing business. And this is what I said, that the government just doesn't. It shouldn't just be advertising, promoting ease of business. It should actually be showing it. And I do agree that over the years we felt. I mean, business owners have seen the difficulties in just simple tasks. But I think, but then Arsalan also mentioned in the same breath that there is a sense of realization in the government now, which is positive and which is heartening. The other bit I think Arsalan mentioned was that the government doesn't understand technology, etc. My two bits, my 2 cents are based on my experience and interaction. There is an understanding, but there needs to be an enabling environment, and this all comes down to the country being stable overall. If there's stability, there is understanding. There's some very bright minds in the government. Um, and if we face challenges as business owners or entrepreneurs in Pakistan, there are probably bigger challenges in other countries. The grass is never greener. And I've always been told that, if our neighboring countries have bigger economies and bigger numbers, the problems are also bigger. They also complain about the government not being conducive or a lot of paperwork, etc. So I think where we are now as a country, if we feel that oh, it's not conducive, it'll just feel like a dead end. So we need to be positive. And I personally feel that we've hopefully, inshallah, we've seen the worst of it. And it's just from this point onwards, there has to be an onwards and upwards for all of us. We need to be positive. There will be growth. We had highs and lows over the last couple of years. Some created internally, some impact, some as a result of macro factors or the pandemic or factors beyond our control. But I think from this point onwards, if we all, if we all are dedicated to what we're doing and we're doing it with good intention, कहते हैं ना नीयत साफ मंजिल आसान. So we need to be hopeful and we need to engage with the government. Cliched as it may sound, those are my closing remarks.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your precious time and your insights. And we look forward to have you again on the show. Allah Hafiz.
Inshallah. Thank you so very much. Allah Hafiz, everyone. See you.
Allah Hafiz.
Assalamu alaikum.